Welcome back to Tathata. Last time we met the tiger. Today we are looking at the thing that feeds it more than almost anything else, the loop inside your own head. This is the overthinking trap. Here's a line worth sitting with. A thought walked in a circle enough times will wear a path that looks like progress. If you have lived with anxiety for any length of time, you know this shape from the inside. The same handful of worries circling, never quite landing, just looping back with a little more dread attached each time. If overthinking actually solved anything, you'd have solved it by now. So, what is it really doing? Productive thinking moves towards something, a decision, a plan, a sense of closure, whereas rumination moves in circles. It revisits the same fear again and again without even actually resolving it. That's why it's so exhausting. It feels active, like you are doing something about the problem. Mechanically, you are doing the opposite. You are rehearsing the problem, not resolving it. Underneath that loop, there are specific patterns of thought that psychology has studied and named for decades. Five in particular are worth knowing by name: catastrophizing, probability overestimation, mind reading, all or nothing thinking, and emotional reasoning. There's a real power in catching one in an act and saying plainly, that's not a fact, that's a distortion. Catastrophizing is jumping straight to the worst conceivable outcome and treating it as the likely one. A delayed reply becomes the relationship is over. The leap isn't that bad things can't happen. It's the leap from possible to probable, with zero evidence making that leap fair. Probability overestimation is its quieter cousin. Fear gets weighed heavier than facts, not because it's more likely, but because it's more vivid. The honest challenge to both is the same question: what's the actual evidence right now, not the scary story I can imagine? Mind reading is the confident assumption that you know exactly what someone else is thinking, almost always something critical, without them having said anything of the kind. And all or nothing thinking collapse a mixed, ordinary day into one of two extremes. It was perfect or it was disaster. Almost nothing in real life actually works that way. Most outcomes sit somewhere in a wide, ordinary middle. Underneath and nearly all of these sits one more pattern: emotional reasoning. The belief that because you feel something is true, it must be true. I feel like something terrible is coming, so something terrible must be coming. A feeling is real, it is not on its own evidence. There's a famous study from the late 1980s. People were asked to spend 5 minutes talking out loud while specifically trying not to think about a white bear. The people told to suppress the thought ended up thinking about the white bear more than people who'd never been given the instruction at all. The harder the mind tries to push a thought away, the louder it tends to become. And stress makes the effect stronger, not weaker. Which means the advice to just stop thinking about it isn't just unhelpful, it's almost guaranteed to backfire. So, here's the one real skill this episode is building: catch the distortion, name it, even just in your own head. This is catastrophizing, this is mind reading. Naming it doesn't end the loop by itself. A single round of clear thinking doesn't instantly rewire a path that took years to build, but it gives the more reasonable part of your mind a foothold it didn't have before. And that's the real handhold on the way out. Rumination feels like problem solving, but it has no finish line, and that's the tell. Subscribe to the Thata, and I'll see you in the next episode. The illusion of control. why your mind believes worrying keeps you safe, and why that belief doesn't actually hold up.